Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Styx and Bones podcast. It is High Priestess Chelsea, who apparently is running a seance. I'm running a seance behind me right now in case you can't see. I was leaving my offerings to
Honestly.
Zeus and Hecate, and they didn't burn down in time before the podcast, so we're just going to be dealing with it. But hi, Dr. K, how are you?
I'm good. As soon as I hopped on, I was like, whoa.
What is she doing? What epithet is she going to, and why? These are the
I have no
questions.
idea.
If you are on Sticks and Bones Patreon, if you know, you know. What epithet and why? And why Zeus and Hecate? Stay tuned. We'll tell you in the next episode, maybe. No, I was hoping they would have been burned down before the podcast, but unfortunately, just not. So we're rocking with it. Here we are.
We're gonna hope it doesn't set off your smoke alarm. And the girls are here and putting all the good vibes out. It's not gonna catch on fire. We're good.
I actually don't have a fire alarm in this room, which is really nice because this is my office. And the last place that I lived, you know, you have a sensitive fire alarm.
Oh yeah.
My fire alarm, anytime I'd light a candle, anytime I'd light incense, it would always go off. And I live in an apartment. And so I'm always afraid that I'm like, my neighbors think there's like a fire and there's just like this girl, just worshiping the Greek gods and the flames getting a little too high. Like. Outside altars, the ancient peoples, they had a point. They had a point.
They did. They were like, I can't be burning this inside. I will be hotboxing myself and not in the good sense.
No, honestly, when I make it in life to the point where I have like a massive backyard, I am going to move my altars outside just for the fact of the fire alarm. So, for the fire alarm anxiety people or candle anxiety people, I see you and I understand you. We are
Yeah.
with you. We are one.
I'm keeping a weather eye out on them candles just in case you gotta pause and I'll just monologue.
No, don't pause. Watch. You can watch me flail around as the fire sets ablaze in my office. No, we'll be fine. We're good. They're stable. They'll be going down soon. So they're probably gonna be going down while we're on the podcast. So it'll be very fun. And you know what's even more fun? That we're talking about the fates today. This is
Yes.
a very exciting episode. Actually, a lot of people have asked us if we were going to discuss the fates, aka the Moirai in Greek mythology. I know a lot of you are very intrigued by them because they are very intriguing. And
Yeah.
we have some crazy information today. We were diving into the fates, and it just led us into a whole nother rabbit hole that has to, of course, do with the king of the gods himself, Zeus, which we will get to. There's a lot going on with the fates.
Honestly, this man truly has all of his fingers in all of the pots, in all of the Kylikes, in everything. Every ancient pot in the world, Zeus had a finger in it.
Absolutely. Well, before we start today, I want to give you guys a quick temple update. So we have a full-blown restock happening at Styx and Bones Temple. Let me get out my notes. Full-blown restock happening. So if you were looking for any Greek god candles for worship, my Zeus one, he is set ablaze right here. Ah. Um, Zeus is restocked, Persephone, Hecate, and we're also restocking the Hecate's Dapnon altar boxes, offering boxes. If you're interested in learning how to celebrate Hecate's Dapnon, we have that. So all the candles, they're coming back. And also this month, if you are spending over a certain amount of money, you can check out our Instagram. I think it's 75, 150, and 200. There are special presents and gifts that are being gifted for certain dollar amounts that are spent in the store. So check that out over on our Instagram. The girls are feeling generous this August. It's the summer. We're ready to go. And we have lots of trinkets and gifts that we want to give away. So check out our temple. And yeah, that's the temple update. Did I miss anything?
Boop, 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 boop. That's honestly everything. Like, we need some like cool like sound bites to go in.
In my free time.
In your free time, like maybe, I don't know. I think we need like Zeus swallowing Matus just as a sound bite.
Oh my God, we do. I think about that all the time, honestly. Like when we were doing the Zeus versus Kronos episode, I was like, remember when he just like ate Matus?
Remember when Kronos just his kids?
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. It's really crazy. Like Greek mythology is crazy. Okay, We are having slight technical difficulties. You know why? Because it's starting to rain outside. And obviously, anytime we talk about Zeus, I've noticed this every time we record. Anytime we record a podcast, it is always raining on like a Friday, and we are always talking about Zeus. Always, consistently. So if we had to cut a little bit of that. I'll just keep it real. My internet is like being really strange. So bear with us. But anyway, Dr. K, what do we have going on for Patreon this month? Because I know we have a lot of fun, amazing things happening over on the Styx and Bones Mystery Cult for those of you that want to learn about the gods in ancient Greek religion. What do we have?
Oh, yeah. For those in the mystery cult, whether you're on Patreon or joining via extra members content on YouTube, we have a crazy lineup this month. We are tackling the age-old question of why is the king and god of the underworld, Hades, brother of Zeus, why is he associated with wealth? Because we see a lot of craziness. So we're going to talk about this. What were ancients thinking wealth was? What was wealth in the ancient world? And how does Hades have a finger in that pot? Then, of course, we are getting back on our modern myth reactions. We are coming back to Epic the Musical, and we're diving into the Cyclops
I'm
saga.
scared.
And it's a little spooky.
I'm really scared. I'm really scared. I hate that myth. It makes me so sad. And I think I'm gonna have to like plug my ears. I'm gonna have to like look up the notes about it because it's going to like make me upset. You know what I mean? It's just gonna make me sad.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a deep dive into that, listening to it, giving our full reactions. And then, we're coming into the fall, things are changing, and there's a lot of gods in Greek mythology. There's a lot of gods in ancient Greek religion. So what are we doing? We're talking about some of the lesser known ones, that of the goddess of fate and chance, Tyche. So come roll the dice with us and we will talk about who she is, what were the ancients doing with her, how is she actually depicted in art, and why would people have gone to her? Because spoiler alert, it's insane.
I'm so excited. I love Tyche. I love talking about, I mean, she isn't really like a lesser known goddess, but I feel like she's not often talked about online a lot in online spaces and communities. I feel like, we just got off our high horse of representing Zeus and bringing, facts to his good name versus what people were saying in online spaces. So I'm very excited to talk about Tyche because, I think it's just time to talk about something different, different things.
Yeah, we've said enough. 8 million episodes on Hecate. We just rode for Zeus. Now we got to talk about, some people who maybe should be a little bit more in the limelight.
Like the Fates. And speaking of Zeus, he appears again today before we know it. I did not expect to talk about Zeus today. That's why I had to light his candle. I was like, I see you. But let's talk about the Fates. So the Fates are known as the Moirai in Greek mythology, also ancient Greek religion. And you guessed it, they are in charge of the fate of every single person and the gods. So once you're born, the Fates basically create your life, and we're gonna run through them. So
Mhm.
there's Clothos, who spins the thread of life. So when somebody's born, she's the one that actually creates the thread. So she's giving life. And then you have Lachesis, the second sister. She determines the length of life. So she's like, how long or short is this person going to live? What things are they going to go through, right? And this one's probably the
Yeah.
scariest. We have Atropos, who actually severs the thread and known for cutting the thread and is the most feared because people don't want to die. So I think it's an interesting
Yeah.
concept, the Mirai.
It is, and it's interesting that it's again in threes. Like we
Yes.
see this a lot with Greek mythology, especially with sisters who are, looking over certain things. You see this within the myth of Perseus and everything with the Gray sisters. But
Hmm.
what's interesting here is I don't know which one has probably the worst job. Like Clotho, I think personally I would pick her to be like the easiest because you're just like undoing them. You're like, oh, great, another one's born. Here's your thread, have at it. Here's your thread, have an at it. You get a thread, you get a thread, you get a thread.
Right.
I think, um, Lachesis measuring, that's spooky. I think that to me is scarier than snipping.
I don't know. I find the snipping to be a little bit scary because that's like a final end to something. Like I feel like Lachesis can maybe be persuaded to make a little longer, you know what I mean? Like under the
Mhm.
table, but Atropos, like she's just like, nah, you're done. Like, just cut.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
could
know.
see.
They're all kind of scary. They're all three of them are scary to me. They deal with fate. They deal with what happens to you.
Hmm.
How does your life go? And the
How much,
gods as well.
how many knots am I gonna have? Is my thread tangled? I don't know. I'd like to know.
I don't know. So they are pretty spooky, and I think that's why, we've gotten requests to talk about the Moirai slash the Fates because the Fates are not only these three goddesses in a sense, it's also a concept. And it's like when you
Yeah,
think about fate as a concept, it's like an existential crisis that you have because you're like, what is fate? Can we change it? Is it always set in stone? How
you
does it
get
work?
you get into a chicken and an egg situation of can I change fate? But say you can, was that actually fate for you to change it? Like you just keep going back in this endless cycle
Right.
of
Was
craziness.
was your fate always that you were going to make that decision to change it? So you didn't necessarily change it. You were just following your fate the whole entire time, thinking that you changed fate.
Exactly. Like, and that's the cycle you just get stuck in constantly and constantly. And then you're like, well, what if I didn't change it? And it's like, well, that could have been your fate too, to not do anything. Your inaction was foretold by fate and prophecy. Like, that's the craziest, like, conundrum to me is fate and prophecy. Like, was that always following it, or were you always meant to? Is there ever an answer? I don't know.
I don't know, and I don't think the gods know either, because I find in many mythologies the concept of the fate is always looming over gods themselves. Where not gods themselves, some of them, we will come back to this point, can't
Yeah.
change fate either. Or can they? I don't know, but was it their fate their whole entire time to quote unquote change it? Like when Zeus, we've talked about Zeus versus Kronos, when Kronos receives this prophecy that his son is going to overthrow him, right? So he starts eating his children.
Yeah.
Was his fate always that he was going to get overthrown by Zeus?
Yeah.
Because he tried to stop it, but it didn't work out because he received this prophecy of like one of his sons is coming for him. And
Boy, did he. And he said, I'm
right,
going to stop this right now. I'll just eat them all.
but he ate a
And
rock instead.
yeah, so, but then again, he also did the same thing to his father.
I know. And we talked about it. We talked about it in the Zeus episode, and it wasn't even the last episode. It was like three before this. But it's an interesting concept of like, was it always just meant to be that way the whole entire time that Zeus does in fact win and overthrow him, and then Zeus gets the same prophecy, right? Like, is it just fate that's going to continue to happen? He winds up beating Metis. There's a lot going on,
I don't know. There's a lot
but
going on.
what's really interesting about the Fates is that their parentage is kind of really up in the air. So a lot of you are probably like, okay, well, where do they come from? And what we're referencing is Hesiod's theogony, which, by the way, if you don't have Hesiod's theogony, it's great. This is where all of this lore is coming from. It is a primary source. And
Lord.
obviously, Styx and Bones proved always. So Hesiod references that Nyx
Mm-hmm.
is their mother. And we know Nyx of having some of the most infamous children, such as Thanatos, the Furies, insert
Nemesis, terror,
tons of goddesses, spooky
famine,
things,
forgetfulness. Like, Jesus.
violent death, right? Like, just she is the goddess of birthing all of these children, and she's very powerful. But I
Mm-hmm.
find what's interesting, there is this passage in Hesiod's Theogony that does make reference to Zeus and Themis being the parents of the Moirai, the Fates. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't actually know if that's correct because once again, it depends on the translation and it depends on how you're taking the passage. And me and Dr. K, we're
Mm-hmm.
we're a little perplexed by this because why would Hesiod reference two different parentage is in theogony? I've never really like quite seen that before. So I don't know. So let me read the passage and I want to know what you guys think.
Yeah,
So
I have both
next.
passages locked and loaded.
Okay, do you want to do you have the
I
Nyx
can
one?
do, I've got both.
I only have the Zeus one. So if you want to do Nyx.
Then I'll do the next one.
Okay.
Okay, so from Nyx, he's talking about instantly, Dark Night gave birth to blame and sad distress. Skipping a few lines down, She bore the destinies and ruthless fates, goddesses who track down the sins of men and gods and never cease from awful rage until they give the sinner punishment.
Crazy.
Goodbye.
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 We don't mess with Nyx.
Hip and a doodly doo.
Right.
Catch me now.
So then we have Theogony referencing this. Next, after the goddess Metis, Zeus, married bright Themis, who bear the Horai, right, which are the seasons. And
Mhm.
Eunomia, blooming Urine, I'm skipping, who mine the works of mortal men, and the Moirai, the Fates, to whom wise Zeus gave the greatest honor, which is Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos, who give mortal men evil and good to have. So it is insinuating that he is the father of the Fates.
Yeah. And what's crazy is the Nyx rendition of her as the mother comes from about 209 in that passage going down, and then Zeus doesn't come around until about 900. So we've got 700 lines in between where we're having separate parentage.
It's really weird, and I have so many questions as to why. Because it is clear to me that Zeus and Metis are being referenced as parents, because it's like, who mind the works of mortal men. They're listing the children that they have, and the Moirai. So the Moirai were the last of their children to have, to whom wise Zeus gave the greatest honor. So he very much reveres the Fates because
Yeah.
of the work that they do and what they stand for. And it's just very interesting. So you can take it as Nyx or Zeus and Themis. Like we all know, with Greek gods and Greek mythology, the family tree is really crazy, and you
It's a
just kind
bush,
of
it's a wreath.
have to go with what resonates with you, as long as there's evidence of it, like we see here in Theogony. So I don't know. But who are you more likely to resonate with, Zeus and Themis or Nyx?
I don't know. Before I answer, I have a follow-up question.
Hmm.
For in your translation, because I know we're coming from two different translations right now, where it says, to whom why Zeus, what did he do? Does he attribute or what is the word that is
Gave.
given? Gave. Mine is paid for her who Zeus has paid the greatest honor.
But still, I don't, that doesn't matter to me because it's like they're listing their children. You know what I mean? Like the children are being listed. So it's like,
Yeah. And but that one seems like more purposeful.
so I have to whom wise Zeus gave the greatest honor, paid the, that's the same to me in my eyes. It's just the way that it's like, why would the Moirai all of a sudden just be thrown in there if they're not referencing them as the children of Zeus and Themis because they are listing their children, you know? So that's why I'm like, it's interesting. I wonder if it's a mistranslation. I don't know, but
I don't know because going back to Nyx and the rest of her children, we get like, the destinies, so like the fates and everything. And we also get the Furies. We're getting kind of cause and effect with that. And the rest of her children, of course, also makes sense. You're getting, you know, these terrible other gods and goddesses and daemones that make sense for, their parentage and everything. But then it also makes sense at the same time for the fates because you also have the seasons and justice
yeah.
between Zeus and Themis. So
It's two different parentage that are being listed in Theogony, which is very fascinating.
unless it's like the two sides of fate that they're trying to create, as in if you're looking at Zeus and Themis, then you get kind of transitions with the seasons, but you get justice, which is very stern and powerful, much like Zeus. It's something that cannot be fought, cannot be changed, cannot go against. It's something that is just kind of overseeing us all. But then with Nyx, it's it's interesting because those are just kind of like, okay, like with all of her other children, they're more scary, fearful because they are the ones who are in the back unspooling the thread, measuring it out, and snipping it to determine. So,
Well, it says in the Zeus passage, the fates who give mortal men evil and good to have. So they're not referencing them as like,
yeah.
they are referencing the good and the bad of the fates of like, and even attributing the good and the evil to the fates, right? Like they're the ones spinning the threads of people's lives. So I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. I'm curious to know what you guys think because we can be talking about this all day, but we have other things we have to get to. But what do you
Hmm.
guys think in terms of parentage and like who do you see the most? Like for me, I'm gonna err on the side of Zeus and Themis. I think because Zeus is the king of gods, and I feel like he's created some really amazing gods, goddesses, and children. And I'm saying this because when we get to like the next part of the podcast where we talk about Zeus a little bit, it might make sense a little bit more.
Yeah. I like the Zeus as the parentage. I also like Nyx only because she's more primordial and older.
Hmm.
And fate as a concept, and I guess as a personification, as goddesses, that also just seems extremely old. And of course, like the Greek gods are already old, but they just seem
Hmm.
older. Like fate as a concept just seems older.
100%. I think, listen, you can go with either one. It's referenced in theogony, so it doesn't matter.
Flip a coin, honestly. They both fit.
But next question I want to ask, because we've talked about this concept of fate, and do we think the fates are above the gods? Do we think that the gods can't really touch fate? Is it something that maybe that they sort of fear or they kind of, I don't want to say bow down to, but they understand exists and something that they can't change? Or do they try to change it, but it's always meant to be fate anyway? So are the fates just laughing with their string, being like, ha, we foresaw this, like,
Yeah, I don't know, because you also kind of think like I instantly want to think of the fates from Hercules and Disney, and they're just sitting around there being like, "What's wrong with these scissors?" Kind of deal in the
right.
underworld. But it is interesting because it seems like the other gods know their positions in connection to the fates. They know not to step a toe out of line. Of course, that doesn't mean you can't go up and ask, but at the end of the day, their ruling is final. You can't really change it. And depending on the
Yes.
parentage, you could argue, and then in art, you could argue, but it's so case by case, time period by time period
Hmm.
basis. And then you get different myths of, going as far back as like the Trojan War with Achilles and fate. And then you look at Orpheus and Eurydice and fate. And it's kind of, all these gods kind of like wheeling and dealing behind the scenes of just trying to share and exchange power. But at the end of the day, they're all power. They're all representational of power. So is it just, power trying to figure out a way to bow down to more power? I have no idea.
I think I wouldn't say they're above the gods, but I think that I almost kind of put them in their own category of like they just are.
Yeah.
The gods are something entirely different, in my opinion. The fates, it's just like this concept. You know what I mean? Like
It's like
I know the
time.
gods are concepts too, but it's like
Yeah.
this is different. And I just think that I don't think they're above the gods, but I don't think the gods can change it. I think it's always fate is always going to, this is just my personal opinion. Fate's always
Yeah.
going to be what it needs to be. You can try to change the final ending of something. Maybe you can change how you get there, right? But I think at the
Hmm.
end of the day, whatever is meant to happen is going to happen. And I think even the gods know that, like they get it to a certain extent. And I think that's why, they sometimes fall short when it comes to these prophecies. Like they get these prophecies about their power being under threat or under siege, and like they immediately bend the knee to the prophecy and they're like, I have to do something about this, right? Like they are very much tied to prophecy and fate. Like I think they're afraid of it, in my opinion.
I
I
mean,
think it's the one thing that gets them to like, that's the one thing I think they're afraid of.
because I think you're getting a little bit of a peek behind the curtain of the future.
Yeah, like okay, let's use Zeus for example. Zeus and Metis, right? He got this prophecy that his son's going to overthrow him, but how did he know it was that one, you know?
Yeah, because it depending on again on the translation, it was just like your offspring. And Metis, cuckoo cuckoo, got pregnant, and Zeus said, "By God, I gotta take a page out of Dad's book, and we gotta stop this now."
And he could have picked right? Because there's no story of Zeus being overthrown, right? After, and he fathers many children. We've talked about this in a previous episode. There's a lot,
Yeah.
and he's had sons. Like he has rivals to his throne, like Ares and Apollo and Dionysus and Hermes and etc. And there's so many, right? There's so many. So it's like it's
Hmm.
very interesting how like that one prophecy and that one myth got him to do something. And it's like so maybe he did change something. I don't know.
Exactly, because was it, a child? And then, like, what does the word offspring mean? Because some of his siblings, including wife, did try to lead a rebellion, but then they're like, it's not
Like
gonna work.
Hera.
Hera, Poseidon got a little finicky at some points, and I believe Athena got involved in one
I love
aspect.
when Hera like goes back and it's like one of my favorite things.
And it's like the OG, like that's the personification of marriage. Like, you're gonna tell me this? No. But yeah, I agree that it's kind of like the gods in mythology are just existing in their own little mythological world and being worshipped and everything, and the fates are just not even involved. They are down the road, separation of church and state right there, where if you need something, they will go, but at the end of the day, you're not getting in.
No, and also too, you have to think about too the mythology of the gods falling in love with mortals who are very, very tied to fate, right? Like we have a definitive ending of life. Like gods do not. They exist forever unless they like go to the Titan War, whatever. They're at war with each other. But it's almost too like I think of Apollo and Hyacinth, and it's like if he had known about this, would he have changed the fate of how one of his lovers died? Like, and could he have done that? I don't know. I don't think so. He's this god of prophecy, and it's like, could he have changed something? I don't know. Because if you think about it through the lens of like, well, the gods will do anything for the mortals that they fall in love with in mythology.
I mean, look
They
at
like fall
Aphrodite.
deeply in love with them because they just like feel something. And I think it's interesting because like the fates definitely affect the mortals in the mythology more so than the gods, I think.
100%. I mean, look at all the ones we did for Aphrodite's lovers, the mortals and everything, and turning against her, or you have Adonis who was killed in
Hmm.
front of her, and
Yeah,
she took a page out of Persephone's book. But yeah, you have to sit there and be like, wow, I still wasn't enough. But I guess that is also the fate of the gods.
100%. So it is depending on the lens you're looking at it through the lens of war, through the lens of power, through the lens of overthrowing kings, through the lens of love. The fates are the common denominator in all of that.
Yeah, I mean, you could even go back to, when Zeus made everybody stand up against the wall and pick their teams for the Trojan War. Like,
Yeah.
are you picking the Greek side or are you picking, the kingdom of Priam and his side and the Trojan side?
Yeah. So back to the original question, are they above the gods? Well, it's interesting because we do have some references of, especially in Pausanias, of a temple that was
Hmm.
being built in which there was a depiction of Zeus. And unfortunately, it wasn't finished because I believe they were in the middle of war, the Athenians and the people of Megara.
The Athenians and the Spartans, and Megara's right in the middle on the way to get down to Sparta.
So I don't mean to laugh, but like, he did reference that it was unfinished and it was supposed to be
Yeah.
beautiful with like gold and everything. It was going to be this
Oh,
really
yeah.
amazing,
Exquisite, high
exquisite.
end. I think gypsum was in there, which
Yes, yes. And he does reference, which is why I like Pausanias in a sense. He does have some issues. Like, there's some things I really don't like about Pausanias when he calls Iphigenia Hecate. Like, we've talked about that.
I mean, this man just loves to tell stories. So he's listening to anybody and writing them all down
Which
as
is great
fact.
though, which is
Yes.
which is great because we have discovered something in Pausanias. So anyway, he's writing about this temple being constructed, but he's talking about this depiction of Zeus and how the fates and the seasons are above him in the depiction. And it's in the ancient world, when people are doing things, they're very specific in why they're doing things. So why
Hmm.
would you depict the seasons and the fates above the king of the gods?
And I wish we got a drawing, a sketch from Pausanias. I wish we had something because to have them above could, in art, mean two different things. So if it's just, like me right now in the shelves behind me, that, the bust of Artemis is above me. So she could, she's the goddess, she is above me in every sense of the word. But in other aspects of art, you can have a central figure and then take the fates or the seasons and have them at the four corners of the relief. Those are still technically above Zeus. So it could be that, he is king of the gods, law and order,
Mhm.
everything. And let's just take the seasons, for example, that the seasons around, like his power is unyielding, even in the ever-changing world and ever-changing universe. So it could be that. So with the fates, it's the fates are around Zeus, so maybe he was fated to be in power. Maybe it's fated, that he still, in a sense, could bend the knee to them, but they also could bend the knee to him.
So let me read you the passage because I want to know
Hmm.
what you guys think that are listening to us. Because I think this will give more context because yes, it could mean two different things, right? So
Hmm.
here we go. Above the head of Zeus are the seasons and fates, and all may see that he is the only god obeyed by destiny, and that he apportions the seasons as is due. And then he goes on to talk about how this guy who is the artist, he
Hmm.
has pieces of wood in the back of the temple, and he intended to overlay the ivory and gold in order to complete the image of Zeus, which I kind of love. He's like just talking to people, like you said, and just writing things down. And this guy's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to complete this, but we're literally at war and we're in
Uh-huh.
distress."
Uh-huh. Where'd you get that wood from? You got ivory back there? Where'd you get it? Is it
And he's
hippo
like,
ivory?
"I intend to finish this," and I'm really, I don't know. We don't have any evidence of this, do we? Like, I wish we.
I think we have foundations of the temple.
Okay. But anyway, so this line of, and all may see that he is the only God obeyed by destiny, and that he apportions the seasons as is due. So Dr. K and myself were on FaceTime this morning trying to decipher, what we think that means. And I think Pausanias is inferring that Zeus can actually control the seasons because he basically, allocates who's in charge of what and can have some sway over destiny, like as a cosmic power.
Yeah. Like maybe I'll attach an image when we like upload this podcast because I could see it being like a whole image and it's like a bust of him, beautifully done,
I'm
ivory
so
gold.
mad we don't have it because it sounds amazing. And this guy is like, I'm really trying to get this done, but there's a war.
Like, let me like showcase what is in my head as he's describing it. Okay, so this is F
Okay, while you're doing that,
S. Here we go.
oh, you got it. Okay.
Don't mind my Pictionary drawing.
It's great. Okay. So in the middle, that's Zeus.
Zeus's like head, Zeus's
He's
bust.
probably sitting on like a throne in gold, crown, gold.
Exquisite. The man in the back is chopping wood, trying to get this together before the Athenians
Yeah,
go.
and destroy everything.
And then I could see in all four corners, I put S for the seasons. And then maybe in a tripartite on either side, and then above Zeus, we could have each of the Fate sisters.
Hmm.
Because then at that point, you have this unity and unified image of especially if he's enthroned, that he is almost this cosmic outlier, this cosmic entity that can work in, like with, but he also knows his place within it. Like he can work with them, he possibly could change it, but he
Hmm.
also knows his place within that ever-changing world.
That's what I'm thinking. And then upon further research, and we have to
Hmm.
research this more, Dr. K and myself found an epithet of Zeus that Pausanias also talks about being a guide of fate. So I think that is very interesting too, because guide of fate is someone that can guide you into fate, can possibly have this power over fate. And we have to do more research about it because obviously when it comes to epithets, we need to know who, what, where, when, and why. Like who is calling upon this epithet, how, why. Why are we praying to this aspect of a god? And who in the world is doing it? And we haven't really figured that part out yet, but there is context for it. So we're gonna do a deep dive on that on Patreon. And also, I think there's something for Apollo as well that you mentioned.
Yeah, there was something for both of them. And as you just said, the word guide, I want to get the OG Greek and look at how it's being used and how it's being viewed and what is the actual evidence because guide could be so many different things. I mean, we did the whole episode on Hecate as the guide. Hermes
I
is
was just
also
thinking of Hecate.
a guide. Thanatos is also considered a guide, and like Charon is a guide. So like, what is a guide in this context for fate, and how?
And
Because
especially with Zeus, right? My first thing is I would never call him a guide. Like that just would never come to
no.
me because he's king of the gods, but it depends on what context in which we are using the word guide or what the translation is. So we are going to be discussing that on Patreon in the near future of Zeus and Apollo because Apollo we know is a god of prophecy. So he does have ties to fate, right? Like obviously he's known for oracular messages, he had Delphi, he had oracles. And so I think it'll be very interesting to showcase that. And we'll talk about it on the top tier on Patreon because we do talk about epithets of the gods there, some
Mhm.
that are lesser known. We just did last month, we did an epithet for Zeus and his justice aspect and the oath aspect of him. So we
Mhm.
dive into all of that and break these epithets down because if you don't know, in ancient Greek religion, going into that aspect, when we are worshiping a god or petitioning a god, we have to be as specific as possible. And I think that was a shocker to a lot of people that listen to our podcast. I got so many questions on, do I have to know the epithet if I am leaving an offering or a petition? And traditionally, yes. Like you would want to know who you are going to, right? Like
Mhm.
you want to know what aspect of the god you are going to and why are you going to them for help? What is it that you need? Right?
Yeah.
We make fun of Apollo the mouse catcher, like we joke about it, but it's a very real epithet.
Yeah, no, exactly. It really, makes all of the difference because it's kind of like you're coming with all of your research. Every document is signed, all the permission slips are signed, and it just makes a lot more sense rather than just, saying, "Oh, well, I read." It would basically be saying, "Hey, High Priestess Chelsea, I read this book. You should try it." And she's like, "What book?" And I'm just like, "The book I just read."
Yeah,
And
or
she's
like
like,
going
"Okay,
to Barnes and Nobles and saying, I need a book. And
right."
you're like, which book are you talking about?
And you're like, "A book with a really pretty cover." Okay. Is it a special edition? Are you looking for this? Who's the author? I'm looking for a book.
Yeah, by the way, I went to Barnes and Nobles a while ago and the classics section is in the poem section. So I was
That's the
perplexed.
biggest lie ever.
I went to go look for the Iliad and the Odyssey and I couldn't find it. And I actually had to go ask for help, which I hate going to ask for help. I have anxiety. So I had to go up to the guy and I was like, can you tell me where you have the Iliad and the Odyssey? And he was like, this is going to sound dumb, but it's in the poem section. And I said, on the bottom shelf, nonetheless. I said, this is blasphemy. Blasphemy.
I
But you need to know who,
Mhm.
what, where, when, and why. And also, when you know epithets, you can do further research as to who is worshiping this epithet or going to this epithet and what are they leaving? Like, are they leaving a votive? What kind of offering? How is it functioning?
100%.
It gives you so much more context aside from Hecate, right? Or just Zeus. So, and it's interesting because I had both my Hecate and my Zeus candle lit, and they're both being referenced as a guide. So, we'll have to
That's
do
why
more research on that.
that's why I'm like, okay, but what's the word and what's the context? Because now we have the most specific and we need to go broader.
I mean, we don't know. And I had to stop myself from researching this morning because I was like, I just have to do this episode on the fates today, the Moirai. So we're gonna deep dive into that. We're gonna get our registering out like we always do and say, hmm, what does it
Hmm.
mean?
Well, at this one, it super crazy site that was getting ravaged every single year. We have this one epithet, and this is only where it exists, and I need to know more. Is it only coming from Pausanias? Because I'm going to be looking at him sideways.
Imagine you can petition Zeus to change your fate if that's what we actually come to the conclusion that people were trying to do. Imagine you know that knowledge and information. This is why studying epithets is important.
That's
So
that's what I need to know now.
we need to know what
Was
it
this man
means.
able to change?
Can he change? I can change him. But
Fix
Daddy,
him.
I love him.
Yeah, like honestly, this could be a game changer.
Because if there is evidence of people worshiping Zeus as being able to guide fate or change fate, that is insane. And that just shows you that this man has so much power and he can't be stopped.
And I can now see why people kind of came for him and tried. I
But
get
then he
it.
was like, psych. I already knew about it because of prophecy.
You dare come against me?
Yeah, like that would just be like ultra like tyranny at that point.
Who are you? I'm from ancient Greece.
That's fine. Who are you? I am from ancient Greece. Okay, well, anyway, that's a little fun fact. Me and Dr. K are always giving you guys the niche information because you don't know the depths of the internet I had to look for it for this Pausanias line in his book. I'm like, dude, where? Because I'm hearing about it online, but I need to find it in a source. You can Google things and it comes up, but you need to find it in a source, right? Google AI at the top for the Fates and Zeus is going to do you dirty because it was saying, some things about Zeus being able to change fate. And I'm like, great. But where is that being referenced, right? Like, where do we see
Hmm.
this? Where are we seeing the fates depicted with Zeus? And it briefly mentioned Pausanias. So then we had to go to Pausanias. You
And
should have seen
shake him
us.
by his robes and say, why are you depicting every story? Why are you not fact checking for us, please?
If I could summon a shade up from the underworld, I think I changed my answer. It's Pausanias.
Who was yours before?
Hadrian and Antonius.
Yeah, I can table that because now I need to know.
You know what? That true crime can wait a minute.
You know what? You take Pausanias and shake him a little, and I'm gonna shake Hesiod because I've got some questions. Why did you change the parentage after 700 lines?
And then after that, we'll go to Hadrian and Antonius. I got some questions for you
Then
too.
we'll get on our true crime.
How did you drown in the river? Did he push you? No, no. And then I'm going to Ovid because I need to know
About what?
why.
I think if I had to bring Ovid up, he would just get the people's elbow.
Yeah, like I need to, all I would say to him is why? Because do you know what mess you've made in 2025 with Medusa and Poseidon? This is all your fault. Get out. Slam him back
Drag him to
down.
Barnes and Noble.
Do you know what mess we have to clean up because of you?
You and
Anyway,
your goobles and gobbles.
you and your retellings. You should have labeled it as a retelling like they do today.
God damn.
I have some questions.
But Chelsea,
Yes,
do you believe in fate?
totally. I totally believe in fate, and I think it's like, how could you not? I don't know. I feel like if you don't believe in fate, you're gonna go crazy because then it's like, I feel like I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like if I didn't believe in it, I would absolutely go insane because I need to know that there's something that put me here on this earth that decided this is how it goes, right? Like this is what happens to High Priestess Chelsea Gallardo, right?
Yeah, you're like, somebody's got to be up there being like, all right, yeah, this makes sense. Keep her string going. Let's go. Let's go.
That's right. And now I have this epithet for Zeus, and when I find out the true meaning of it, bet.
That string is going to get braided and it's changing.
He's got two girls down here that are coming to knock on his door. Anyway, what about you? Do you believe in fate?
I agree. I think it would be what's kind of the purpose, you
Yeah, it's
know?
just like too depressing. That's why religion exists. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
Yeah.
what
You have to
then?
make sense of what's after. Like, if it's truly just like there's nothing after. And I mean, if that brings solace to people, I have some questions. I could possibly be convinced, but like, why? And then it's kind of just like, what's the purpose then?
Why did we
You
choose the
know?
religion with the most dreary underworld, though?
Is it that dreary?
I don't know. I think the whole process, might be a little scary, like to get to where you need to go.
It's a whole process. Like, for once, ancient Greek religion has a whole business set up. They've got lines.
There's a
They have
scary dog at the front door.
it's basically like do not leave. Like it's very law and order. If you don't have a coin, step aside. You're gonna be waiting 100 years. You thought the DMV was long. Just wait till you get down there. And then if you have your coin, please move over to Disney's Fast Pass lane and somebody will be with you shortly.
Just
It's
Hermes
it's
dragging us down to the underworld, right? Like, or Thanatos.
it's very like it's well
You
structured. It's
know.
the only time we have structure in ancient Greek religion.
Yeah. I mean, but when you compare it to like Catholicism, when you're like heaven and it's like, and Jesus Christ is at the gates. You know, Hades is not at the gates. He does not want to see us. He's gonna be
He ain't
behind.
there.
He ain't there. But I think about that. I'm like, I picked the underworld. That's kind of scary, but that's okay. It's not super scary,
I mean,
just the
like,
process.
yeah, because at the end of the day, like, that's just the afterlife. But fate is more or less like what you get done here.
Yeah, and how long of time you have to do it and what happens and maybe what are some of the knots in your thread. No, I totally believe in fate. I think fate is absolutely a thing. And I'm gonna share a very cheesy story about fate. Um, because I actually has to do with me and Dr. K and starting Sticks and Bones podcast. So
I'm looking for that page if you've been wondering what I've been tethering through. I'm looking for it.
I hate sharing my emotions and feelings sometimes, so this is really like hard for me. But um like a few years ago, what was it? How long we've been doing this now? For 4 years now. Not the podcast, but like just being in business together. I think it's 4 years.
20,
21.
I think 20.
Cusp, no, 2021. It don't
Yeah.
matter. Whatever.
Yeah, I could probably look at like our earliest
We're like
DMs.
an old married couple now. Do anniversaries even matter at this point? Who cares?
What
Um,
is our anniversary?
for what? The podcast, the
Yeah,
store.
I don't know.
Like I just figured out the story yesterday. It was like June 17th of like 2022 or something.
Yeah, you finally got it down. So I guess we can go for that date. I don't know.
Sure.
Sorry.
Better by
Sorry, I
me.
don't know our anniversary.
It passed, so it's fine.
We made it another year.
Here we are. So, a few years ago, I was going through probably one of the hardest transitions of my life. And for any astrology people out there, I was going through my Saturn return, okay? It
Hmm.
was really crazy, really hectic, and I had actually thought my life was over. Like I could not believe the things that were going on. Like I just really terrible, horrible things. And bottom line was, I wound up finding out that some of my closest friends that I had known for years, like 14, 15 years, were talking about me like really horribly behind my back. And how do I know this, you may ask? Well,
Hmm.
for those of you that listen to me, my podcast, I've talked about this multiple times. I got a accidental screenshot that was sent to me.
What?
And oh yeah, well, this is when I first started my business. I was starting a tarot reading business and I quit my full-time job to do it.
Uh-huh.
I always say when you're following your goals and your dreams, people are going to be massive haters. So my friends, air quotes, had thrown me like a party to celebrate my business, like this dinner. And half the people didn't even come anyway. That should have been my first sign. So a few weeks later, I got this screenshot of a text message of them talking about me behind my back and making fun of me after they had just thrown me like a party. It was like
Hmm.
so sinister. It was so crazy and so sinister. So one thing you guys should know about me is I'm from Jersey and I don't play around. So like I cut these people off immediately. I said, "Who are you? Why?" I immediately sent I didn't tell them I got the text. I like cut them off. And these were my best friends. And it was during COVID. Okay. We're all lonely in COVID during lockdown.
Yeah.
And while all of this was happening, I think like in the middle of it, me and Dr. K became friends.
Yeah.
Like I had met you through a Facebook group and we were like online friends. Like we were didn't I never even spoken to her like over FaceTime or in person.
Yeah.
And while all of this was happening, like I truly believe fate, when maybe five doors close, one opens that you're meant to walk down. And I
Hmm.
wound up cutting off these really toxic people, but I gained Dr. K, who would then turn out to be my business partner, who that was not even the point of why we were speaking. We just were two
Hmm.
girls that liked Greek mythology
Yeah.
that were introduced by another mutual friend of ours.
Hmm.
Because I didn't even really know who you were in that sense of like, I would have never just randomly messaged some girl online. Like, I have too much anxiety for that.
No. Oh, I found a date. Oh, I got the year. It's 2021.
Good for us. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Couldn't tell you the month though.
It's fine. But Yeah, a mutual friend of ours was like, because I would always talk about Greek mythology, and I was practicing ancient Greek religion at the time, and she was like, you really love like Hades, Hecate, Persephone, like the Greek gods. She was like, I know this girl. She's an archaeologist, and she also loves Greek mythology. You should talk to her. So
Hmm.
I messaged you, and I said something to you about like the Greek gods and Greek mythology, and you were like, oh my God. And I think we were just two lonely girls during lockdown.
Yeah, I think you sent like a meme or something.
I think I sent the Disney Hercules Hades meme because I
You're
think
like, I
that's
hear you like Greek mythology. Hello, fellow youth.
hello during COVID. Yeah, it was like the weird time of coming off of COVID or something. I don't know, but I
Because I
know
was back working. I was in person.
yeah, and I know like we were just had been on lockdown for too long, so you just like wind up just talking to random people online apparently. And I don't even remember what happened. We were talking about Greek mythology, and then I told you, I was like, oh, yeah, like I'm really into ancient Greek religion. I worship the Greek gods. And you were like, oh my God. And you were like, I do this, this, and this. And I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about. And because usually I think Greek mythology was good, but we took it a step further of like, oh, like I worship Greek gods. And you were like, oh, like I'm totally into that. Like, get it. I'm an archaeologist, whatever.
Get it, got it. Good. Let's talk.
Yeah. And I already had like a business online. I had like clients that would come to me for tarot readings. And then we
Hmm.
just wound up doing a business together. Like we were like, hey, do you want to like get together and teach about Greek mythology? And then it extended over into ancient Greek religion, like over the years.
Hmm. No, 100%. I literally have in like a journal. It was like I have like the first time I have like written down like about Chelsea and everything. And you guys have no idea. Like we still have yet to change each other's contacts
hmm
in our phones of how we have been calling each other for years.
so you got in my car the other day and you saw it because 10 is on like my top five people that I call every day in my car.
I've made it, guys. I've made it.
She's actually number one. I call her than my mom, more than my mom, my dad, and my brother. And we are like legitimately friends. I don't think people know this about us. Like we're not just two people that like are online friends. Like I see 10 all the time. I talk to her every day at 10 o'clock in the morning. She FaceTimes me while she's doing her makeup. Like I don't. So she's on the top, and her name is Teninger Pantheon Girl. I don't know why I put you in. I think because you've like studied so many pantheons of gods, and I don't know why I put you in my phone like that. It was so weird.
But I also have like the temple emoji, maybe because you're just like pantheon, like Greek pantheon, temple. She's an archaeologist.
I don't know, dude. I'm too lazy to change it. I'm too lazy to change it.
Oh no, you are in as Chelsea. It's a crescent moon emoji, crystal moon.
Because that was my original business name, Crystal Moon Clarity.
I refuse to
Um,
change.
we can't change it. It has to stay that way
Uh,
forever.
has to say that.
But we were driving to the post office to drop some of your orders off. Everybody that's listening, thanks for buying from the temple, by the way. We hand deliver them to the post office. So we packed up the trunk of my car because we had so many orders. And you got in and you were like, oh my God, my name's still the same. And I'm like, I not changed it.
Yours ain't getting changed.
No, but like to my point of like fate, like I was going through the worst time of my life and then I met 10 and then we like
Hmm.
now built this business together over the past 4 years and she like knows the whole story about what happened with my friends a few years ago. Like she's witnessed some of it. Like it was crazy.
Yeah,
But she was like randomly like thrown into that with me of like these people of like 10 plus years are saying these things about you. That's crazy. I'm like, I know.
wild.
So
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, literally there is like I have a lot of like gooples and gobbles like doodles and it says like ask Chelsea start like Greek mythology question mark.
Yeah, because you were the one that approached me
Yeah.
to start a business. And I will be honest with you guys because we do get some questions about this. It is not easy going into business with somebody else. And
Mm.
truly, Dr. K and myself, like we do not fight, we do not argue. Like it was almost like it was really meant to be. And we evolved into Styx and Bones Temple. Like our branding had gone through many facelifts, and our store and our podcast was very different at one point. And now we're finally like where we need to be. And we've just been doing it for, I don't know, I feel like 4 years is a long time. And it's not, though, in the small business world.
No, it's not. Like
That's like brand new. You talk to people like 15 years in. I'm like, shit,
shit, we are babies.
we are. But yeah, you were the one that asked me. And then like just to blindly say to someone, actually, no, I did do divination. I'm not gonna lie, I did do divination. I did do divination. I did divination of like, should I be doing this?
She said, "Who is this girl?
Who are you? I am from ancient Greece.
Who is this Pantheon girl?"
Yeah, no, I did do divination. Luckily, I could read divination, so I knew what it said. It said yes, and I was like, okay, cool. Let's see what happens. But I didn't even know you like that, you know?
No. And we
That's
were like,
taking a leap of fate.
we truly just jumped.
I didn't
We
even know
said,
you.
no, we said, get your laptop, get a mic, here we go.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I never been to your house. Like, I didn't even know you like that. Like, that's like kind of
No,
crazy.
because when we met and united, we're just about to buy a house because I was still in the apartment.
Yeah, I remember you buying the house because you were like, "Oh yeah, I gotta move." I remember you going every week to move your stuff in. And I was like, "Oh my God, dude, that's crazy."
You were pre-IRO.
I was.
Oh,
Yeah, and you were with me when I adopted Pluto.
I was there for the birth. I saw it.
I birthed him myself. We look just alike. Same color. But yeah, it was now looking back on it though, like that's pretty crazy. And I always take leap of fates. Like I will take a chance.
Hmm.
But I don't think I'd recommend that to normal people. Like that just worked out for us, but I that's not really like just get into business with someone you just met.
I mean, it's like, I mean, fate is just like crazy like that. Like with you, with Kevin, like I met Kevin online.
And you met
I
me online. Look at you. You are proof that online making friends and dating works.
and Tara, shout out, met my brother-in-law online too. So like the Kellenbarger household is two for two for online.
My brother met someone really nice online. We actually really, really love her. And it works out for some people, honestly. Some people I get it, it don't work.
But like I truly was like, sure, when he asked me out, and I was like, sure, I'll go and shared my location with people, and I was like, I'll take this leap of faith. Is it
But
fate?
see, I don't know. Yeah, that's why I have to believe in fate because
Hmm.
like I just think that things are set up for us always. Then it's kind of scary. It's like, can you not change things? I don't know.
I don't know because once this episode airs, we will have known each other since 2021 early. So happy 4 years.
Oh my
Um,
God, thanks. Did you get me something?
and we'll have to pick a
We'll
date. I
order
don't know. I
we'll
think it's in.
order Greek food like we normally do because we're,
Oh.
we're two girls that like to be comfortable and eat food. That's the only thing that you guys should ever know about us is that we are no
Love
frills,
to
no
eat.
thrills.
No.
We're just
It
chilling.
co- Come as you are. I hope you're hungry.
Yeah,
And yeah, when this drops, I will have been with Kevin for 8 years.
that's pretty crazy. Yeah, and it was weird because we were going through it the other day of like when we started everything, and I couldn't believe like t so much time had passed. Like sometimes you look behind you and you're like, wow, wow,
I
like I
think
can't believe it's been that long.
you forget like how much how much like we've grown. Like we were looking at videos of ourselves and being like, who is that?
I had pink hair at one point.
I remember that.
Never doing that again. That was a moment in time if you were there for it. If not, the evidence is gone.
That was like the first like Halloween stuff that we were doing, and
Yeah.
I was gone for 2 weeks, and you had pink hair at that time, and
hmm
that was a vibe.
It was like a moment in time. My mom never let me dye my hair when I was younger, and if I was not allowed to live at home with like colored hair, it's Italian parents. So when I was going through all this, what do girls do? They cut all their hair off and dye it a color because when you're going through something traumatic, you could tell by someone's hair, right? So
Hair, piercings, tattoos.
yeah. Yeah.
She was
Oh,
the
I did get a tattoo. I got a tattoo. I got a tattoo. I
You
literally
did
got a
get a
tattoo.
tattoo.
I
You got
did.
your hair dyed pink and got a tattoo. No piercings, no piercings.
I was like, wait a minute. I was gonna get a piercing, but then I stopped myself because I had just got rid of all my piercings. But yeah, I did get that tattoo. That's right. You know me when I got that tattoo. I forget about that tattoo. But anyway,
I remember when you were like, I'm nervous to go get it. And then the next time at the temple, got it.
it's right here. Something about trauma makes you want to get a tattoo. But get something that you like. Get something you like. Don't do it on a whim.
do it on a whim. I've gotten tattoos on a
Yeah, but what
whim.
if you hate it after? That's my worst nightmare.
I've gotten tattoos on a whim that I still love.
I
But
have one that I don't.
you can also always just cover it up.
That's true. That's
Your
true. I
body,
have
you got room, you got space, we got time. Your body's a temple. Let's decorate it.
I have a tattoo with someone that I used to be friends with that was part of that whole story. And it's on my body. So every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's fun. Don't get tattoos with people that won't be your friends in a few years.
What could we change it to? Now we got the creative juices flowing.
It's my lucky number that she actually stole from me. So,
No, death.
when you just like have a friend that's like trying to embody you, and I didn't realize this till later, like they just,
I don't think I ever have because I've always been the weird one. Never had friends like the same guys. Never, never had that.
no, see, like, and I was the weird one. It's just,
Hmm.
I think like hindsight is 2020. Sometimes you look back and I don't understand it because I still think I'm really weird. Like I know you guys love Sticks and Bones and the work we do, but every day I wake up and I'm like, I'm fucking strange. Like I know that about me. And that's fine. I own it. But like to see people like blatantly like take your persona is kind of weird,
Yeah.
because it's just
Yeah.
like I'm weird on my own. So
Yeah. No, this is my weird little circle.
yeah. Anyway, so that's what I believe in fate. I know you believe in fate, and I'm curious to know everyone else's thoughts about fate. Like, what do you think? Do you believe in the fates of ancient Greek religion? Do you have a different concept of fate? I believe,
Mm,
I truly do. It's just one of those things that I believe in.
100%. And may our strings be forever long.
You know what? If it's not, someone learn necromancy and you can summon me up here. As long as you brought something good, I'll come hang.
Bring Pausanias with us.
I'm not talking to that crusty man.
No, my questions will be answered one way or another.
That's true.
Anything else that you would like to add today?
I was just kidding. I like Pausanias. I want to say this about him. Last thing I'll say, it's very interesting. A lot of you should go read Pausanias and just see some of his accounts of things. Maybe some of you don't know, but it is a reference and it comes so much later.
Yeah.
But I do recommend you go read some of his work. And just because it's intriguing, like the Iphigenia and Hecate thing, I will never get over.
Yeah. I wish he would have like named names of like so and so from this village said this. Because then I would go after him.
Well, he did name the artist of that Temple of Zeus, and he was like, "This guy is coming to like sculpt this," and he said his wood's over here, and it's like it's so crazy that he was just walking around talking to people and writing it down. Like it kind of just takes you through like his world.
Yeah, like I really wish like we got like the account of like I tried to approach this one man in his temple, but he wouldn't tell me his stories.
He threw a rock. Yeah,
I threw one back. I went to the next temple.
I know. Damn, we needed like a GoPro on his head or something. But that's it. That's all I have left to say.
Well, that is going to be it for us. This was just, conversation about fate. Who do you think were the parents of the fates? Do you believe in fates? And, has fate played a role in any of your lives? Was it fate that, you found sticks and bones? Who's to say? Did you meet anybody online? What a weird time. We grew up in the 90s and remember it was like, don't talk to strangers. Like, don't get in strangers' cars. Don't talk to anybody online.
AOL chat rooms, baby. ASL for those of you that are millennial age.
I wasn't allowed to be on
You
those.
shouldn't have been. I shouldn't have been there either. My parents didn't know what was going on. Luckily, I would always exit out before anything else, but things were happening in that chat room and no one should have been there.
What a wild time the late 90s and early 2000s
It
were,
was
but
the internet was a Wild Wild West.
talk about fate.
Yep. Yep.
But from us to you, we will be back next time with more Greek mythology, more goobles, and more gobbles, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.